Live. Emily, how we doing?
Woohoo! I'm doing great. How are you, Larry?
Doing all right. So I
Awesome.
have Emily Mcmullen with me with Armadillo Home Warranty. Um, so Emily, how is everything?
Well, it's going great. I love what I do, and I don't think that you can really ask for more than that.
Yeah,
Especially, in today's world, there are so many different paths that you can take in life, and I'm pretty early in my career, and fingers crossed, but I really do think that I found it.
yeah.
So I can't ask for anything more.
So Emily, why'd you choose home warranties to get into?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I will simplify it a little bit.
Hey, I
Um,
tell you what, we have all
and
the time in the world.
well, so I'll tell you what. So I grew up with a dad who was always bringing me in on what he was doing. Um, Anything that he was working on, he always wanted to show me what he was doing, how he was doing it, and really prepare me for success in my life. And um, when I was just a kid, he started a business making soap and lip balms and things like that, very like natural products. And we're from Central Texas, and so I think it was called Hill Country Botanicals or something like that. This is so long ago now. But we would actually make those things together. I say together, I was probably 5 or 6, and so I don't know how much I was really contributing.
Yeah,
But he would
it
bring
was
me
one
to
of those
these.
things that it's more of a memory
Yeah.
than
Yeah, absolutely. But he would bring me to the farmers market with him, and we would set up every Saturday and do that together. Or he would help me do lemonade stands and stuff like that. My dad started out his career at Dell in sales, um, but he also, for a time, worked for my grandmother at Keller Williams when I was growing up. She was a broker in Austin for Keller Williams, kind of when they were first starting out. And so we were also kind of in the real estate space as I was growing up. And when I got into college, I worked a couple of different part-time jobs. I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do? And I have my degree in environmental sustainability studies.
what
And you
does
might
that mean?
think that's kind of random. I did a lot of courses on science and the environment and human geography, so to speak, learning a lot about people and their patterns and their places. And I've always been interested in people and their places. And so I actually got my Texas real estate license in college. And I started working in real estate by getting into apartment locating first. And I really enjoyed it because I got to tour these apartments with my clients, and I got to help them find a place that worked for them. I really enjoyed being in the real estate sphere. And after I graduated college, I got engaged, and I got engaged to a man in the army, and he's wonderful. I love him so much. But that really, that was a big change for me because we had to go ahead and move. Um, and so we moved up here to Washington State. We live close to Olympia, kind of between Olympia and Seattle. And it was a huge change for me. And when we first moved here, I got a job working at an apartment complex doing leasing. I was just applying to all sorts of different jobs. I'm like, what do I do? Right? I've got to
Right.
just find something totally new. And I really loved my coworkers. There were a lot of things about my job that I did love. Um, but every time I would talk to my dad, we would always end up talking about work. And we would talk about real estate. And I would say, I would really like to get back into real estate. And so he told me about Armadillo. And he was like, well, working in the home warranty space, you get to work with real estate agents. And there was something that really drew me to that. And, part of it was I wasn't sure that I wanted to be an agent myself again in Washington. Coming to a new place and starting all over
It's hard.
as a real estate agent, you want to know you want to know about where you live. You want to be an
Yes.
area expert. You have to build that client base. And that was something that I wasn't sure was going to work for me because of, being a military spouse, being military family, and being so new. And I really liked the idea of entering the home warranty space. So I applied, I interviewed, I got this job with Armadillo, and it has been even better than I imagined. I absolutely adore it. Um, and I really enjoy working with real estate agents. That's primarily what I do. I sometimes work directly with homeowners, but I mostly work with real estate agents, and I love it because I get to be part of their world and I get to contribute to their world and to their success. And for my agents in the area that I work with more often, we'll even, I'll sponsor events for them and stuff like that and get to go and kind of be part of what they're doing. And
Yep.
I really love it.
So does Armadillo, I know with some of the other uh, big companies, if, say, a homeowner was to call and set up their warranty, sometimes it's actually cheaper to go through a real estate agent to get your home warranty than it is just to go straight to the company. Is that how it is with Armadillo also?
Well, it can be. I will say it can also depend on the state that you're in. So we're in all 50 states, and then we have local reps for each
Okay.
state. So, like I said, I'm the Washington rep, and we like to work closely with our agents. And a lot of times, what that looks like even is the real estate agent will purchase a plan as a gift for the homeowner and save them that hassle, give them this gift of you don't have to worry about this for the first year of being a homeowner,
Yep.
right? And I won't speak too much about anything like discounts or anything because that can vary depending on the area. But we definitely try to kind of work with agents closely and sometimes even provide incentives like that. And agents can pass that on to their homeowners too. So.
Yep. So, how long has Armadillo been a warranty company? You said that they're in all 50 states, um,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to lie to you. I hadn't heard of them until Alyssa came over to me and was like, "Hey, check this out. I want to show you what I'm doing."
Yeah, well, we are a pretty new company. I would consider us a small business, even though
Okay.
we are nationwide. And we can be both of those things because we are a technology driven company. So our company is all over the US, but we're virtual to each other. So when we have our team meetings, we do it all online, and it's awesome to, we'll do like a virtual coffee and get together and talk over, hey, how's this week been going? Stuff like that. But that being said, so we were founded in 2021 by Matan Slater and Lanston Robbins. Those aren't household names, but those are our founders. um, so we're pretty new, and they came from the kind of the home insurance side of things, and we're seeing a lot of issues in the home warranty space, seeing things that just didn't make sense, like, hey, this is coming up repeatedly, that is it's an issue for homeowners, and so what are we really giving them if we're not solving their problems?
Yeah.
And so they came up with a very tech driven model that also leverages insurance differently to actually give homeowners hopefully a better experience than what they've encountered in the past. And not everyone's had a bad experience with home warranties, so that's why I say hopefully. They
Yeah.
may have had an okay experience before, they'll have a great experience with us. But some people have not had great experiences with home warranties in the past. And so we really, our goal is really to change that for them.
So what do plans look like with you guys? Like, do you have multiple tiers, or is it just kind of one size fits all, or how do the how do the different warranties work for you?
Yeah, so we do. We have a couple different tiers, and those are mostly going to be standard across all 50 states. In some states, they might just be slightly different in terms of pricing or coverage, depending on what we need to get approved, of course, by the state and by the insurers and, whoever we're working with. But that being said, it's going to be mostly standard across the board. We usually have 4 available plans for new homeowners, and excuse me, that's actually it's more on the real estate side because we do plans for new homeowners with real estate transactions, and that's primarily what I focus on. But we also have plans for current homeowners. We have plans for new construction as well, which, most builders will offer a first year warranty, and we would pick it up after that. So day 366 on. And then we also do listing coverage too, as kind of a bonus for agents, and they can pass that bonus on to their customers. And that's a really great tool because I can talk about it more in just a minute, but that's actually free as well.
Okay.
So with our real estate plans, there's 4 main options for existing homeowners. There are 3, and basically it's a base plan, a standard plan, and a premium plan. And our base coverage is going to be those main systems in your home, which includes electric, plumbing, heating, cooling, water heater, right? And base plan is typically going to cover maybe like your oven and range as well as those. Whereas the standard plan is going to cover all those things and all of your appliances in your home. So your fridge, your dishwasher, your laundry, your microwave, your garage door openers, things like that. And then our premium plan essentially is going to cover all those same things, but the coverage limits are really high. And I usually recommend that plan to someone who has like luxury appliances. Like if you've got one of those huge Sub-Zero or Viking refrigerators, then that would be a great plan for you.
Okay. Um, so how does uh like say your fridge breaks down and obviously you need it fixed or you need a new one or whatever. Uh, do we call you first or do we call like a contractor to come fix it or how does that work?
So that's actually one of the main, if not the main difference between us and a traditional home warranty company is you actually have the flexibility to do it both ways.
Okay.
And so one of the main issues that we had seen in the past was this out of network issue for homeowners, right? I'm sure a lot of people have encountered this where they've got home warranty coverage, but they have something break down and maybe it's an emergency, like a plumbing leak. And they don't really have time to wait to submit their claim and then have the warranty provider send someone out. And even if that time that they're having to wait is only a day, if it's something that's really, really urgent, then you can't wait for that, right?
Right.
And so a lot of homeowners, they'll just call somebody out. They're like, well, we've got to get this fixed, right? And their home warranty provider will say, well, that wasn't within our network, so we can't cover that. So what we've done differently is we allow homeowners to go through our network, or they can choose their own contractor for repairs or replacements. And in that case, they would be able to call somebody out and then go ahead and submit their claim. And when they submit their claim, they will literally just say on the form, I've got my own person. And we would reimburse them after they pay the provider up front, which also helps to kind of get better service for the clients too. because
Yeah.
another issue related to that we had seen in the past, and that I personally have heard from a few homeowners, is they'll get technicians out who they're being paid a negotiated wholesale rate by their warranty provider. And so they're not really prioritizing the work for this client who has a home warranty over someone who's paying out of pocket.
Right.
Since we pay retail rates either to the technicians we send or to the technicians that the homeowners choose in the form of reimbursement, they're much happier with the work that they're doing. They're much more likely to prioritize it. And with those reimbursements, we pay them out every Tuesday and Friday. And not only do we pay via check, but we can also pay via Venmo or PayPal. Sorry, I was about to say pen pal. They can
That
also,
that would be slow.
right? No, via Venmo or PayPal. And so they can get that money back very quickly, rather than having to wait up to like a month and a half to get a check back from,
Yeah.
that's what I've heard kind of in the past of how it can sometimes work. So,
I have heard from some of the contractors that I've worked with in the past that they won't even work with home warranty companies much anymore because of that same issue you just talked about. Like, all the big major companies, all they want is you to do it for the cheapest possible rate you possibly can and not make any money. And, it's just not worth it. So that's good that you guys are willing to, cover the actual rate that that company charges. Because, it's not like they're going out there and, going to run up the bill or anything like that. Like they're trying to get their stuff fixed.
yeah, yeah, they are. And, 9 times out of 10, they are the expert. They know exactly what they're doing. And one thing we always recommend is if you are calling your own technician, go ahead and send our claims team the invoice or the estimate that you're getting from that technician as soon as you can. Because it's also great for us to be able to look over it and just say, hey, if you haven't worked with this technician before, it's a good idea just to see, oh, yeah, this makes sense. This seems reasonable. They're probably not overcharging, and to advocate for you in
Right.
that sense as well. So,
Well, awesome. Uh, Emily, have you ran into anything crazy in your short time being in home warranties at all?
gosh, I don't know that I've run into anything crazy myself. I I would mostly say it's just, the kinds of things that you and I were just chatting about. I occasionally will talk to homeowners directly, and I did have someone tell me once that he swore off of home warranties for years because the provider that he used, they sent out a technician for a repair in his home, and the technician didn't he was just very unprofessional, but he apparently didn't bring any tools that he would need to make the repair. He seemed to kind of not know what was going on, and the most shocking part to me was that supposedly he asked to borrow their daughter's bicycle to ride to the hardware store to get some tools to make this repair. And that just blew my mind. So
So he didn't come in like a vehicle, or
I
that's
don't know. I don't know. I was very confused by this story, but it's definitely the craziest one I've heard.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it just, I think you're right in what you said a moment ago with these really big companies, and I think this doesn't just apply to home warranty. It applies across the board these days, right?
yeah,
These giant companies, they have streamlined and they have cut out the fat, and they've made it so that they get the highest profits imaginable doing the least amount of work. And that's what I really love about being part of a small business, because we are really, everyone at Armadillo cares so much about what we do. Our motto is "We are for homeowners," and it really is the truth. Every time we get together for a team meeting, one of the real estate representatives like myself always has a question or a comment or an idea or a suggestion about how can we make this easier for the homeowners? How can we do more for the homeowners? And so it's just so wonderful to be a part of.
Awesome. Well, Emily, how do you do work here in Kansas or no?
Well, I do not do work in Kansas specifically. I could, of course, if someone reaches out to me from another state and says, "Hey, I saw your info specifically," then I'm happy to help. But that being said, we do have dedicated reps for each state. And in Kansas, you guys get to work with the amazing Alyssa Cohen.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she is the best. She's actually my mentor here at Armadillo as well. And I love her. Anytime I reach out to her with a question, um, she always gives me an answer that is skewed toward giving more to the homeowner, giving more to the agents, more time, more effort, more thoughtfulness. And I really, really enjoyed working with someone like her and getting to learn from her, because it's exactly the kind of person that I want to be when I grow up, you know?
Yeah. Well, so I can put Alyssa's contact info down here, but just for video's sake, is it normally easiest to contact her, or would it be easier to like go on Armadillo's website, or should people call their agent and be like, "Hey, can you hook me up with one of those Armadillo home warranties?" I guess what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's tons of ways that people reach us, right? And um, I would say that it's always best to reach out to your local rep first. They're just because we love to talk to you guys, honestly. That's why. So it's super easy to go on our website. It's literally armadillo.one. And if homeowners have questions about us or they want to see, just learn a little bit more about Armadillo, they can, of course, go on our website. They can go on our social media as well. We've got an Instagram page where we share a ton of like helpful home tips and stuff like that. But I would say when you reach out to your local rep, always going to sit down and take the time to answer every single one of your questions as they come, make sure that you really understand everything. And that goes for the rest of our customer service and claims team as well. But I can mostly speak for us as the real estate reps because I know the most about what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say for mostly for real estate professionals, we are here as a resource to you guys. But for homeowners, we are always happy to be a resource to you guys too and to help with whatever you need.
So I do have a couple past clients that moved to Washington. Um,
Really?
I do. So just for their sake, would you mind giving us your contact info as well, so I can shoot that over to them?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can always email me at emily@armadillo.one. Any of our reps, it's just going to be our name at armadillo.one. So you can always reach out to us that way. And then my phone number is 737-346-9786. And yes, that is a Texas number. I'm an Austin girl originally. So yeah,
Well, awesome. Emily, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
of course. It's really been a pleasure to talk to you, Larry, and I appreciate all your questions and giving Armadillo a bit of a spotlight here. Like
Absolutely.
since we're such a small business, it's always great to just kind of get the word out.
Yep, I would agree with you. Well, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, sounds good.